Hey guys, so in this video we're going to talk about the basics of building an email list. We're going to cover what is an email list, why build an email list, the basics of building an email list, how traffic generation is linked with building an email list. Remember that this is the basics, so not everything will be covered in full detail, but I will have further videos and blog posts which will give you much more detail, so don't worry if you don't understand everything immediately. So let's get started. So first we're going to look at what is an email list. Well, an email list, simply put, is just a list of people's email addresses. Platforms such as Fluttermail, Aweber and GetResponse are what we call email service providers, and what they are is that they are basically software that allows people like us to store other people's names and email addresses, which allows us to email multiple people all at once without manually entering their email addresses. It also allows us to create an automated system where emails are sent to the list at preset times, so you don't have to manually do it. But all in all, an email list is just a list of people's email addresses, and the reason why you have one we will discuss in the next section. Okay, so now let's talk about why would you build an email list. The main concept of an email list is that you have a group of people you can get in touch with at a moment's notice. So imagine this situation, right? You have a list of 10,000 people on your email list in the weight loss niche. You email them asking them what they are struggling with in terms of losing weight and if they would pay for a solution. They respond to you, and then you create a product that solves their problem, and then you email your list to sell that solution to solve their problem to them, right? So that's one way people use an email list. Another example is it just allows you to keep in touch with people who cross your path and your online presence. So let's say people land on your website, they read your blog post and they like it. Well, once they leave, how do you get in touch with them again? Which is one of the reasons why you have an email list. There are a lot of different ways you can use an email list, but the main idea is that an email list allows you to contact and get in touch with people, and keep in touch with people rather, who have a similar interest to you or are interested in what you're offering and what you're talking about, basically are interested in your niche. Right, it lets you communicate with people who would be interested in anything you want to talk about or anything you want to sell. Okay, so now let's talk about the basics of how to build an email list. Well, the main thing is that a person needs to enter their email address into a form so that it can end up on an email list, right? That's the bare minimum. They need to enter the name and email address somewhere on something for that to end up on your email list. There's different ways to achieve this, so we're going to cover a very, very common way that's used very widely. And that's basically when a free gift, commonly an ebook or a report, but it can be something else as well, is given away for free in exchange for your name and email address. So you can land on a website and they can be giving you away a free ebook. In exchange, you have to type in your name and email, and then you end up on their email list. That's a very popular way to build an email list. The gift that's given away is referred to as a lead magnet. The lead magnet is designed specifically to entice and persuade people to give up their email so that they can get the lead magnet. So for example, let's use the weight loss niche again. Let's say you create a lead magnet, a free ebook that says the top 10 ways to obliterate fat, or the top 10 foods that burn fat. And in exchange for that ebook, someone has to enter their name and their email address. So that thing you created, that free ebook, the 10 ways to lose fat, is the lead magnet. Lead magnets are displayed in various ways, such as on a squeeze page, on the sidebar of a website, on the header of the website, at the end of a piece of content. It can also be used as a pop-up form, and there are other ways as well. The next step would be to get the lead magnet in front of as many people as possible, and that's where traffic generation comes in. So just to recap, right? You have this lead magnet, this free thing that you're giving away in exchange for someone's name and email address, and once you've had that created and you've got it on your website somewhere, you need to drive traffic to your website so that people can see that lead magnet. That's what we talk about when we talk about traffic generation. Okay, so now let's talk about how traffic generation is linked to list building. Traffic generation is basically the method by which you get people to visit your website. It's very common for people to drive traffic to a squeeze page in order to build an email list, and on that squeeze page that is where they'll be offering their free ebook, or their lead magnet as we call it. There's tons of different ways to drive traffic, and there are pros and cons to each way. We'll discuss the pros and cons of each one in a different video just because we don't want to make this one too long, and this is just a basic understanding of list building anyway. So one of the very common ways is what we call SEO, search engine optimization, and it's considered to be free traffic because you don't pay directly for your traffic. Search engine optimization is when you try to get traffic from a search engine such as Google, right? So when someone types in a keyword or types in something into Google, you want your website to appear, and then people end up on your website, and then they can see your lead magnet. So that's one way to drive traffic. Paid traffic is any form of traffic generation that is directly linked to a purchase, such as you paying someone to email their list about your lead magnet. So that's when you're using money to pay for traffic, or try to pay for traffic. There's other ways to generate traffic as well. These include social media such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, video marketing like YouTube, Kindle ebooks is another way of driving traffic, guest posting, podcast interviews, etc. There's a lot of different ways you can drive traffic. The goal should be to have a diverse traffic source, so you get traffic from multiple sources. So you might be getting some from search engine optimization, so from the search engines like Google. You should be getting some from YouTube, from Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You might be getting some traffic from posting on people's blogs, or from interviews, or from ebooks. The idea is you want to have a diverse source of traffic so that you aren't reliant on one source and that you can maximize the amount of traffic you're actually getting. Okay, so we've covered the basics. Obviously, there's a lot more in-depth aspects to each thing we discussed. We've got a really good understanding right now of basic list building. We know what an email list is, why people build an email list, the basics of how to build an email list, and how traffic generation is linked to building an email list. And that's pretty much it. Remember that this is just a basics video, so it doesn't cover everything in detail, but you have a really good understanding now that you can move forward on. And that's the end of this video. I hope it's taught you the basics of list building.